A massive thank you to all of our sponsors on the Suffolk Non-League show. Without their help and support this year, we would not have been able to have made the improvements that we have done to the show. Other than sponsoring one of our local sides, Grunsborough in the SIL, GBS are a family-run construction company in Ipswich operating nationwide with over 30 years experience in fire protection, diamond drilling, commercial building, health and safety and asbestos removal. Starling and Lock, a self-employed electrician since 1989 offering domestic work and certificates for people buying and selling houses, an NIC EIC member based in the Stowmarket, Suffolk area. All of the branding that you see on the Suffolk Non-League show comes from these guys at Matchday Marketing. They are a sports marketing and branding company helping enhance the image and profile of grassroots football and non-league clubs at a very low cost, utilising over 20 plus years in the game. All of the merchandise that is available with the Suffolk Non-League show has come from these guys at Your Shirts. They offer eye-catching, professional-looking garments for your business, team, club or organisation. They offer a range of printing methods to cover all individual costs. Doesn't matter if it's text, images or anything else that you require to look unique and stand out from the competition. These guys are creating our website and they can do the same for you. Clabber Creative are an agency based in Framlingham, Suffolk, offering fully managed football club websites. They are about giving your club a professional look, feel and ongoing support to maintain the site. Alpha Surveys, providing topographical and measured building surveys throughout East Anglia. If you are in need of quality surveys on any home improvements, contact Alpha Surveys on Instagram. Links for all of these companies will be in the description below. Go and check them out and tell them that DeeJam has sent you. Good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome along to another episode of the Suffolk Non-League show. We are live once again. The Dream Team is back. Myself and Adam, we are back on your screens. I hope everyone is doing amazingly well. We've had a little bit of a break. There's been holidays, there's been illness, everything in between to comprehend with, but we are back once again across Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, the whole shebang. We're here live once again. Feels weird being here on a Wednesday, but it's almost as if the non-league gods knew that we were going live because so much news broke today. None of it happened on Monday. It all broke tonight when they knew we were going live.
Just pretend we planned it, James.
Yeah, that's
Because the same's going to happen next week. We're going to be on another different day, so just pretend we planned it and wing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll just rewind that last 30 seconds for everyone listening on podcast. Just rewind, just fast forward 30 seconds. Yeah, we planned it. We knew this was going to happen. This is all good. This is all part of the plan. And we've executed it perfectly. There you go.
Non-league show master plan.
Exactly. How was your week off, mate? How was your holiday? You've come back refreshed and enjoying the time, etc.
What a couple of weeks I've had, mate. A bit poorly. Still a bit poorly. Went camping, got sunburnt, come back, started a new job.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Feet haven't really touched the ground, if I'm entirely honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, good, really good.
Are you glad that we didn't do the show on Monday because of how busy you were going into that first day back and just
my mind wouldn't have really been on things because I was starting my new job on Tuesday, so. I think having a couple of days of what has basically been waiting for computer issues to sort themselves out and find out what I actually have to do in my new job, because that's still a bit of a mystery to me. I'm just sort of picking things up as I go along. My mind feels more at ease. I'm a bit more relaxed and I can think football.
Good man. Good man. Well,
I've even found the time today to remind my wife that the Euros start this week. So
Yes, I know. I literally just reminded my wife about 10 minutes before we went live, just because she said to her, "Well, when are you planning on doing all of this kind of stuff?" I was like, "Well, technically the Euros are starting Friday." She went, "Oh God, they're not, are they?" I was like, "Yeah, they are." I said,
Gladstone for
"Yep,
beers on Sunday, James?
yeah, something like that, something like that. We might do that." No, I've got a load of family coming around on Sunday to watch the game. So yeah, looking forward to that. It'd be nice to see people for the first time in a long time, etc. So yeah, looking forward to the Euros. I hope everyone is as well. And I hope everyone is doing amazingly well. I can see loads of you already piling in, which is fantastic. Some of you were here on Monday, which was brilliant. I'll get Irv's
Only
comment up
we
on the
weren't.
I'll get Irv's comment up on the screen. Irv posted this on Monday, which was just fantastic. Where is everyone?
I still have images of Earth sitting there for the full normal 2 hours.
Just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, he gave up by 10:30 and decided he'd go to bed. But
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Before we go too far into the show, as we always do, just a shout out. First of all, if you haven't got any of your Suffolk Non-League Show merch, then all of our hoodies, hats, t-shirts, and mugs are still available via the Suffolk Non-League Show website. Just click the link in the description below and you can get yourself any of that merch. You're looking to represent the Suffolk Non-League Show throughout the Euros. I'm going to be getting my t-shirt sorted out fairly shortly. I need to get a black one so that I've got something ready for the show because I cannot sit here and do these shows in that hoodie in this current weather. It just can't be done. So
stick a bulk order in for me, James.
Sorry?
Stick a bulk order in for me. I'll have a couple of them as well.
Will do. So yeah, I'm going to get myself a couple of t-shirts for the Euros for those kicking in. And massive thank you, as we always do, to all of our Ko-fi members who have put money in as a one-off donations towards the show throughout the year. We've now got 2 pages worth of people who have done that, which is fantastic. And again, a massive thank you to all of our Patreon, which are monthly members who put money towards the show on a regular basis. Again, we've now got 2 pages worth of Patreon members, which is fantastic. They all went into the Euros draw, which happened last week, which actually happened last Thursday, which is the last day I was sane and so actually coherent with what I was doing before all of the madness kicked in. But so that draw took place. As I said, all of those Ko-fi members were put into a Euro sweepstake draw as a way of thank you for everything that you guys have done throughout the season.
What's the prize? I didn't actually watch that. Tell me about it.
So what I'm going to be doing is giving away items of merchandise from the shop that we've got. So we're going to be doing a winner, the runner-up, and depending on whether I don't know whether or not the Euros this year are doing a 3rd and 4th best place teams. Well, I'm going to be doing a 3rd best team as well giveaway. It's just a way of a thank you for all of those Patreon members who have put money in towards the show on a regular basis. So yeah, it's going to be a winner.
A lovely gesture.
Yeah, I'm a kind bloke. I'm a nice man. I have my moments, but most of the time I am quite a nice person. So
speaking of prizes, next week we're going to be announcing the overall winner of the Super Six.
Yes.
We've got to work out what that person and the 2 runners-up will receive there. So that's to come as well.
Yeah.
The monthly prize for that, we've had to knock on the head because we couldn't complete the month due to one thing and another. And I haven't gone back to the sponsor and we've only been able to advertise them for 2 weeks. I didn't think it was fair, but may as well offer full disclosure on that now. But the overall prize is ready and I think we'll run it again next season.
Yeah.
Seem popular enough. So yeah, we'll get that all set up and a new database ready for the trials and tribulations of whatever next season brings. Might be a little bit more difficult to run next season with things like the furlough none wanting to get half the fixtures done by the end of November. We might have to mix between pro game and the non-league halfway through the season, but it's not a problem. And it'll again be a bit of fun. But we'll still just do 1 set of results per week, I think, is my thinking on that. Just as a bit of admin in the background so you know what we're thinking about and know what's coming up. We're at the pre-season stage. We're starting our training for the new year as well.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I do need to drop a load of weight, but that's by the by. So let's get all of your hello messages up on the screen. We got Alex is in the building. Good evening, mate. Hope you're doing well. How was your training course? I just saw on Twitter that you were doing some sort of training this evening. How was it? Let us know. James Bloomfield, evening. Good evening, Bloomy. Good evening, mate. Shem, take two, Irv. Evening all. Hope you were well. Been a while. And up the Holland. 3 sweepstakes and got them each time. That's impressive. That is very, very impressive. Irv is back as well, which is great to see. Take two, mate. Glad to see you're in the building. Wait till the World Cup. Shem, Holland's under 21s are decent. Yeah, I don't think Holland are going to have an amazing tournament.
No, I'd be more excited if he said Belgium than Holland, if I'm honest.
I don't even think Belgium are going to be that great this year. I don't. But we might get onto that later on. Evening all from Irv. Connor is in the building. Good evening, Connor. Hope you're doing well, my man. Lake and Heath, hello, lads, with a trophy emoji. Absolutely love that.
Still drinking to celebrate.
Oh, God, yeah. They're going to be celebrating that right to the first ball kick next season, aren't they? Let's face it.
So you've got to celebrate until you give the trophy back.
Yeah, why the hell not? Hope you're feeling better, sick note. Not really. Basically, just to let everybody know, I had my vaccine on Thursday night, hot and cold sweats for about 48 hours afterwards, and then just aching, constantly tired throughout the entire weekend. I had Monday and Tuesday off work, went back in today, shouldn't have done because I felt like absolute poo, but never mind. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people that when I'm sitting at home, I sit there and I feel guilty that I'm off. And then I go into work, I get treated like absolute rubbish for being off, and then you sit there and think, why the hell did I come back in? What was the point? But there we go. It is what it is. Congratulations to Lake and Heath and Stowe Upland.
Lovely message, Irv. Absolutely.
We will definitely get into that in more detail. Hannah, evening, Hannah. Hope you're doing well. Evening, Hannah says Irv as well. Cheers, Irv. Good vibes as well. Harvey is in the building. Love that, my man.
Harvey.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Was on the phone to his internet provider Monday as his screen had frozen. Love that. Alex, chaps, why tonight I'm on the radio? Well, unfortunately, I've been ill. Adam's started off a new job yesterday, so we couldn't do yesterday. Both of us are busy tomorrow, and then the Euros start on Friday, and we would have thought most people will be watching that.
We've also got Witten work to crack on with, and that can't wait too much longer either.
True. Yeah, we do.
You'll start to see a bit more of that come through, and we'll start discussing that in a bit more detail.
Yeah.
Busy times.
Follow the trawler. Evening, everybody. Base on Saturday's fixtures only. Yeah, that could be a potential.
I think that's the way to go with the Super Six, mate.
Good. Glad, Alex. I'm good. I'm glad it was there. Ben. Evening chats, looking forward to the season ahead. Yeah, 100%. I just want to get into it now. I'm so ready for a full season of fixtures.
So all of those pre-season fixture schedules are getting me excited. When Needham announced their absolute diary of goodness, how many pre-season fixtures are they going to play? I don't know, but
it was mental, wasn't it?
Absolute
a combination
madness
of all of their teams, but yeah, it's brilliant. That the clubs announcing that they're signing players, but also this year, and I don't know whether or not there's a bit of a theme happening, but a lot of clubs announcing their retained list in a new way.
Yeah, it's a good thing for social media, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like it's a good part from that respect in terms of getting that sponsorship out there and getting that name out there, and this is who we're keeping on for the season. This is who you can expect to see. But it's almost like I always saw it as like a marking your territory kind of thing. Like, don't you dare approach our player during the season. He's ours. He's staying on for next season regardless. But yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. It's good to see that kind of stuff popping up on your timelines, especially at the moment, because again, a lot of clubs could quite easily slack off and just start to kickstart things again during pre-season. But a lot of clubs are on it. So fair play to them. Absolutely fair play. Planning to milk it, lads. Don't worry. Yeah, why the hell not? Glad you're feeling better. Is it okay? I'm an anti-vaxxer. That's your call, my man. It's your life.
Your own call.
Yep. No. That's the thing. I felt like rubbish. Adam felt like absolute rubbish when he had his ones done. And yet my wife, she's like superwoman. She's been absolutely not affected by this one bit. She's been carrying an entire lot of us on her shoulders over the weekend. So
my phone signal's absolutely buzzing since I've had my injection. So I don't know what they put in me, but it's incredible. So if anyone needs an advert to do it.
Evening chat says Paul Maverick is here. Evening boys, glad Super 6 is continuing next season. Yes, I think it's a really good part of the show. I enjoy doing it. I think you lot enjoy doing it and taking part. The only person who doesn't enjoy it is Adam, because he has to sit there doing all of the admin for it. But everyone else, like 99.9% of us, absolutely love it. So yeah, definitely. Leyston friendlies as well. I haven't actually looked at Leyston's friendly fixtures.
I've just seen Leyston's copious amounts of signings.
Yes, and they've got loads more incoming as well. And it's just for content and clout, no other benefit. I will have to watch tomorrow, lads. Hope you feel better, James. Yes, I will. Sure, I will do. Anyway, let's get into it, because we've got quite a few items to go through and cover in a bit more depth, because there was quite a bit of breaking news that happened today. But before we delve too much into that, just want to take it back a couple of weeks and just sort of congratulate the teams that have won the necessary cups and competitions that have been going on over the past few weeks. So first of all, this is how far behind we are. We had the semi-final results happening over the bank holiday weekend in the Primary Cup, which saw Laxfield beat Walsham and the Willows 5-2, and Bramford United beating Whitehorse 4-1, which sets
scoring semis.
Which you think the semis were high scoring. Look at that final result, 7-2 to Bramford United. Now, that doesn't paint the entire picture of that game, because at half time it was 2-1 to Laxfield. They were well in that game, but unfortunately for them, the quality of Bramford just shone through in the second half. Second unanswered goals. They absolutely ran away with it in the end. But as I said, that doesn't necessarily paint the picture of the game. If you were one of the people that were there at the final, because unfortunately I wasn't well this weekend that's just gone, so I couldn't go to the match, annoyingly, because Suffolk FA did put stuff aside for me if I wanted to go. And I had everything all set up and booked to actually do it, but I had a feeling that the vaccine was going to wipe me out, and lo and behold, it did. So yeah, congratulations to Bramford United, 7-2 winners. Adam, what do you make of that? Shocked? Not shocked?
You should have booked your vaccine for a Monday so you could cover it, mate. So poor planning on your part.
I was just shocked, not shocked. I was just happy to get an appointment in Stowmarket. That's like it took me ages to do that.
I don't want to take anything away from Laxfield whatsoever in this, especially going in 2-1 at half time. But I don't think it's any surprise that Brantford have walked out of this season having won something. Should we say that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Was it that first weekend when they won 10-0 or something?
Yeah.
It kind of set the tone, didn't it, really?
I need to have a look at the website. What was their goal difference in the end? It was something ridiculous, wasn't it?
It was, but as the season went on, they were getting their wins were becoming by narrower margins. I want to say, like, I say narrower margins. It was often like a 2-0 or something, but there were teams that pushed them a bit harder, and still 7-2 in a final is pretty special because it shows they've kept going right until the end.
They had plus 36 goal difference in the 9 games.
Yes, that's just very silly.
Yeah. And that result just shows the quality that they've got about them. And Maverick, as he says on here, no surprise on the Bromford win. Again, I'd love to have been there to cover the game, but from what I've seen in the coverage of it, up until half time, Laxfield were well in the game and giving them a very, very good account of themselves. So fair play to them. Unlucky with the result, but as I said, congratulations to Bromford United. What looks like a deserved win in the end. Maverick, that's what happens when you play furlough number players in Div 3.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And that team has been built on a group of mates that are far above the level where they're playing. But if they've found happiness in doing it, then we're just going to have to wait a few seasons as they work their way up the leagues and
Yep.
And we'll see this again. I don't know what's happening with the structure next year, but they probably need to be out of it. Jason,
Long time no see. Yeah, good
he's
man.
been out of the chat a long time.
Yeah, good man. Hope you're well, Jason. Hope you're finding, and I hope you're finding well. And
I saw Shem's comment in there as well about Leicester playing Norwich. I don't, no disrespect, but that's not at all surprising, is it? With Captain BK8 at the wheel. So yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk all about it.
We can save it towards the end if people want to talk about
Utter embarrassment, James.
Yeah, it's just shocking behaviour, absolutely shocking. And then over the bank holiday, swiftly moving on.
Talk about shocking. On to this result.
Was this a shock? Did you think it was a shock?
Well, I think Mutford were coming at it thinking that they were the ones that gave us an earache when we said the competition was Sporting's.
Yeah.
So
in all fairness, Stowe Falcons gave me absolute grief for that as well. I got so much abuse. I didn't actually tell you. The Stowe Falcons lads actually sent me a video on Twitter with all of them out celebrating their semi-final win, calling me all names under the sun. I thought it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it. I can't believe I'm showing you that.
That's the video they've sent you. Who knows what was going on when they didn't film it?
Oh yeah, Christ, yeah, dread to think.
But
dread to think.
A lot of people were saying how good Mutford were, so all credit to Stowe Upland for overcoming that challenge. It seems that they can only do a 2-1. But if it's only a 2-1 win and all they can do is win 2-1, well, next season's going to be fantastic for them. A very, very good little run-in from them.
Yeah. Mutford, if I'm being honest, because obviously I was at the game on Monday.
Yes, you saw this.
They deserve to win that.
What Mutford did?
They deserve to win that. They had a lot of chances. Stowe hung in there. And honestly, I thought it was going to penalties. I was ready and I was set up and I was thinking, right, how am I going to get myself a good angle to get the penalty shootout in place? Am I going to have to go down to the pitch side? Am I staying where I am? I was really thinking it really properly through. And then in injury time, Falcons pop up with a late header. And, talking to a few of them after the game, and even they admitted that they absolutely got away with that one. They really, really did. So it's not just me saying it. Even the lads at Falcons admitted that they were lucky to win that because, as I said, Mutford should have gone on to win. They were
flipping it on its head then, James, would you say Mutford were slightly wasteful in front of goal, or were Mutford quite clinical and they were prevented by some good defending and goalkeeping? Where would you lay the heroics in that result?
I would say Mutford were wasteful.
Right.
If I'm being completely honest, I think from what I remember, just off the top of my head, I think the Falcons goalkeeper had a couple of saves to make in the second half, but nothing of real note.
So the chances were being carved out, but just not quite getting the conversions that they needed.
Yeah.
That's a big shame.
But as has already been mentioned in the comment section, absolutely massive congratulations to the lads at Falcons. As Maverick says on here, sometimes they need a break. Stowe Upland got it by the sounds of it. Yes, they did. They really, really did. But that's exactly what you want from a team that is on the back foot, who is defending, who is defending for their lives, etc. You hang in there until that point where you get the opportunity and then you take advantage of it. And that's exactly what they did. It was a ball into the box, a flick on, and then a header into the bottom corner. The scenes were mental, though. The scenes when they scored were absolutely incredible. It was just
Falcons didn't get the easiest of draws either to get to the point where they got to.
No,
it has to be said. So that they haven't, they haven't had an easy route to get to the final. And then, like you say, if they're recognizing that they come under an absolute barrage of pressure and still came through it at the end, well, some things are written, aren't they?
Yeah. Shem, well done, Sam and Stowe Upland. Great result for Falcons and two surprisingly finalists. Yep, absolutely, definitely. And as I said in the intro of the Matchday Experience, a new winner for the Suffolk Junior Cup, which is exactly what we want. And then
name etched on the trophy.
Exactly, my friend. And then the Suffolk Senior Cup, we had Lakenheath winning 2-0 against Bilderstone Rangers. Adam, I can't tell you how many people were at this game. It was brilliant. The numbers of people that were there, because it was an absolute glorious, glorious day. Proper sunshine, absolutely perfect for watching it. Maybe not playing it. You probably were exhausted. Half the lads were on the pitch at the time.
It's sweaty.
Absolutely perfect day. But yeah, 2 very, very late goals, one in the 89th minute and one in, I think it was 90 plus 3. I think somebody worked it out to secure the win. Again, I thought it was going towards penalties. I was convinced that Bilderson had done enough to hang in there. The Charlie Delabelt in goal for Bilderson was just absolutely superb. I haven't seen a goalkeeping performance like that in a long time. Everything he kept out, he was incredible. And the Bilderson defence were hanging on. And I thought they'd done enough to take it to penalties, but late heartache at the end. Lakenheath get themselves the goal with a glancing header. And then just as Bilderson were trying to create something in injury time and pump some balls into the box, Lakenheath counter-attack and score to make it 2-0. It was a brilliant game, a brilliant day. I just wish you'd have been there, mate. I wish you'd have been there.
I think, obviously, the way in which the game was won shows that both teams were putting pressure on till the end. Like, obviously, to get that second goal, it's obviously going to be a counter-attack because Bilderstone are going to be absolutely piling on the pressure, and Lakenheath was still prepared to go forward and not run it into a corner and stuff. So, very much a cup final, though, in terms of the way the game was battled out from watching your highlights, James. It was enjoyable watching that. And I think that Bilderstone held the SIL to very, very good account against, let's not be honest, let's not be, Lakenheath are cream of the crop in terms of among the very best Step 6 teams that were in there. So,
they're a very good outfit. Very good outfit.
Right, yeah. So, on paper, it was always going to be a very, very tough game. But Bilderstone really, really have done themselves proud there. So, absolutely tremendous.
A lot of praise for Charlie in the comment section, and rightfully so. He was brilliant. As I said, I can't praise him enough. Dan, who I saw Dan a couple of times around the ground as I was doing my walk arounds, and we had a bit of a chat before both games. Bank Holiday Double was a great booking from Suffolk FA. The day was brilliantly hosted by Haverhill as well. Yeah, I can't fault it. I was skeptical at first of having 2 games on at the same time.
I thought it was a ridiculous idea in concept, if I'm honest.
But with the way that it was all panning out, I think it was, looking back on it, I can't fault anybody either from, as Dan says, from Haverhill or from Suffolk FA. They both put on a really, really good show.
It's a great venue, though, as well, isn't it? Anyway.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I've never been there before.
Have you not? No, it's an excellent footballing venue. That's one of the ones that we're very lucky to have in the area.
Yeah. No. God. 100%. Yeah. 100%. But yeah, it was just perfect. As I said, it fell absolutely spot on at the end of the bank holiday. The weather was perfect. The facilities were incredible. Everyone that was there that was hosting it was absolutely spot on. It was just really well organized, really well done. I think the only thing which was a tiny, tiny criticism was that the periods in between the first and the second game maybe could have been just a little bit longer to allow for celebrations to maybe have died down before the second game came on. But that's literally like the tiniest thing because it didn't affect things in the grand scheme of things.
No time for cheerleaders and t-shirt cannons to be walked around then.
No, definitely not.
No American football style intervals.
Yeah. Shem, great achievement by Bilderson regardless of the result. Well done to Haverhill for hosting 2 finals in one day. Also appreciate the coverage. No worries, Shem. Glad you enjoyed it. Paul, perfect day of football. And Russell, who I spent most of the day with, actually, he was sat right next to me in the stand whilst we were watching analysing, recording, etc. Fair play to Suffolk FA for getting these cup finals finished. Gave us a good way to end a very strange season. That's a perfect way.
Summary, Russell.
Perfect way to summarise that.
And whilst we were doubtful and we've criticised the cups and the way things were done to start the season off, I would absolutely flip that prior criticism on its head in the way that these were handled and the fact that things were prioritised and scheduled. And again, we were sort of like, we don't know when the cup finals are going to happen, but they just inched the schedule in bit by bit as they knew how things were unlocking. And what they've done at the end of it all has given us an event where plenty of fans were able to see their club write their own little bit of history, and I think that's terrific. So absolutely brilliant. And next season, I'm sure there'll be things that they've learned from this experience as well. And even if it is the fact that maybe to have a great day out, it doesn't have to be at Portman Road or whatever. Like, they can still do something at other grounds around, and maybe that gives a bit of investment back into the local football community. It is possible to still have a fantastic day without it having to be at a flagship stadium. I know it doesn't quite have the same edge on it, but by all accounts, everyone's had a memorable experience. So lots of takeaways.
I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. So well done. As I said, to Bromford, well done to Stoke Falcons, and well done to Lakenheath. Commiserations to Bilderston, to Mutford, and also to Laxfield on their final defeats. So let's move on to today's news then. A lot of you are already talking about it in the comment section, which is great to see. First of all, before we get into the promotions and the relegation side of it, let's just briefly touch upon the breaking news that happened from the Furlough Nunn North this lunchtime. So we saw a very, very brief statement from the Furlough Nunn on Twitter, which literally just said that due to a restructure within the club, Kings Lynn Town have informed the league of the withdrawal of their teams from the Furlough Nunn Div North and Youth League with immediate effect. So very, very brief from the Furlough Nunn. Kings Lynn went into a little bit more depth to say that the club informed the Furlough Nunn of a decision on Monday, the club receiving notification on the Tuesday. The decision has not been taken lightly, but with a lack of a venue to play both and train for all matches being a major stumbling block. Another reason is the fact that most of the players for both teams either are or will be enrolled in the club's highly successful academy partnership with KES, which will see an under-19 teams competing in the National League's under-19s Alliance competition. So they are at a higher level now. The whole club has had to go up to the top echelons, which means that the youth setup is having to follow suit. So they are now in the National League's under-19 setup, which, as they said in the statement, meaning they would not have the resources to compete in all competitions in a way which would effectively benefit all of the players. The club will, of course, do all they can within their powers to assist the small number of players who are left without a club following the decision that has been made. Adam, where do you kind of stand on this? What's your viewpoint on it? I mentioned something on Instagram. For those of you who don't know, I'm back on Instagram. Yes, I finally sorted myself out.
So you're back on it. You're actually using it, because you've been pretty against it with every discussion I've tried to have with you.
I've been on a hiatus for the past
30 years,
6 months. But yes, I posted out on there. I understand the club's perspective, but it's another step backwards for the Furlough Nunn North. Let's face it. But
it's one step backwards for the Furlough Nunn North, one step forwards for Wisbech St Mary. Okay, let's look at it a little bit objectively. There is major change happening at Kings Lynn. There's been a bit of an exodus of players who have said they can't commit full time. So it looks like their actual senior playing structure is changing. Michael Gash has left, along with a midfielder whose name has escaped me. Both of them have signed for Peterborough Sports, I believe.
Yes, they have.
So those are serious signings for Peterborough Sports as well. I think that what we're looking at is a team that is directing their investment, and it's also a team that has had its money woes in the past, and there were several dubious money-raising schemes put in place where people were not sure what the financial situation was at the club, where they were trying to raise different funds and getting people to invest in different ways. And it was made quite clear that funds were needed around the club. I am all for clubs cutting their cloth accordingly if it means that it's more sustainable. Like, don't get me wrong, I want Kings Lynn to be successful in the league that they are in. And if that means that a withdrawal from those leagues and to focus their attention in the right place is needed, that's fine. Where that's going to sound quite harsh is players are going to be displaced. It's the same as a redundancy. There will be players there that will no longer be of use to either of those teams. Will they get snapped up and go somewhere else? Of course they will. Like, of course those players will go somewhere else, unless they don't want to carry on competing in the game at all. But it's a shame to lose them because our reserve teams were looking good in that league last year. And that's all now, Sudbury have gone to the south, Kings Lynn now having gone, Felixstowe went the year before. It's all starting to look a bit disrupted, and that quality
now, isn't it?
Yeah, that quality reserves football that was locally coming through and starting to build. I start to question what clubs see as the future of it. I don't know what I see as the future of it personally. I don't hold an opinion on it, but I was very refreshed by the fact that those teams were able to compete and maybe start to form strong development sides with a route to the first team. But by all accounts, Kings Lynn want to compete in a different standard entirely when it comes to junior football, and that's how they'll provide a route through for any players that meet the standard required. And as a progressive club, that probably is what you need to do anyway, isn't it? You need your junior players competing at the highest possible level so that they're then ready to perform at that higher level they're at. Step one is not step 3 anymore, which is where they were just a couple of years ago, They face different challenges, a different cost base, and we have to accept those changes as they come through, I think. And it is a loss for the local game. And that furlough Division 1 North is starting to look a little bit bleak in terms of participants, but what can you do? I mean, they're not just going to suck magical clubs into it. It is what it is.
Yeah. Follow the trawler literally before we started this conversation. Sorry, guys, slightly unrelated, but with the league withdrawal today of Kings Lynn Town reserves, will this mean just one team potentially going down as it's an 18-team league now? Well, teams only go down if there are teams that can come up from step 7. That's the problem you've got.
And teams coming up from step 7, lol.
So that is the issue that you do have on that respect. Now that there are 2 places available, will there potentially be any step 7 teams that could appeal if they have applied to go up this year? Because I know there were a lot of teams from Essex, Norfolk, Cambridgeshire leagues that wanted to come up. Is there any opportunity for those guys at step 7 to maybe?
I think quite a few of the North guys actually made it though, didn't they?
Well, a few did, yeah, but there was a few. There was a couple that didn't. But is there any opportunity for that, or are we going to be sticking with an 18 team league? I think we probably will be 18 rather than the 20. I don't think there will be any chance of that, but you never know. But
it's all getting a bit late, isn't it? Like, it would have been nice for the league to have known this data a little bit earlier on, so when they were making this decision, they could have pulled a few more clubs through. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of second chance saloon really offered. But if you were a club that was prepared to go up and you're in step 7, you're going to be cursing that.
Yeah.
But you couldn't foresee what happened with Wanderers, and you couldn't foresee what's happened there.
Yeah. Alex, if they do well in that under-19s league, they'll have a great bunch of youngsters to offer to the first team. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I don't know what happens if they don't do very well in that league, because I don't understand the structure of that league. So I don't know.
I'm not really too familiar with that youth setup, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know what the long-term future would be if they struggled in that. Could they drop back into a furlough none structure if they felt it became more appropriate? But I think establishing themselves in that under-19s league has got to be a key priority to a club's future vision. Would you agree?
Yeah, oh no, God, yeah, 100%. Absolutely 100%. Dan, think this is more of a cost cutting exercise to enable them to have a bigger first team budget. Can't be to do with travelling, as the league is better for them
absolutely
than the
not
previous seasons.
No.
Yeah, 100%. Furlough One North can have a maximum of 20 clubs, so no relegation unless 3 or more Step 7 clubs apply to join for the 2022-23 season. So there you go. There's that question answered.
I'm not going to say any more.
Go on.
I'm just going to be that league. Yeah, everyone knows what I think, but
yeah,
it may get a little bit stale. But the thing is, we've got new teams in that league that we haven't had for a long while, and I have no idea about their relative quality. And I don't know. We have some sort of measure on what the top of the SIL looks like in comparison to the Furlough None Div 1. We don't have any sort of measure on the Anglian Com. A lot of people tell us it's a very good league, but how it would compare, I couldn't confidently say. And those teams that have come up, is going to be interesting to see how they compete. And there are new challenges aplenty in that league.
Yeah, no, 100%. Shem, will anyone want to go up with all of that travelling? And then Alex's reply saying, I enjoy travelling, so no bother.
I saw your little post earlier, Alex. That's about 2,100 miles in a season.
Let me see if I can get the message up.
Not a short distance, but I think the fact that you enjoy driving is a fortunate thing. I think that the manager reshuffles due to people not being prepared to do it should be done by now. So, although the noise was loud when it all came out, I think people are settled on the outcome. So
Alex's tweet earlier on, for those who don't know, if I was to drive from my house to each ground once and return home next season, Furlough None North is 2,119 miles. The Furlough None South is 2,045. So not much difference between the two of them. Pleasing to see there isn't much in between. It roll on the new season. Love that attitude.
When you drive a Fiat 500 like Alex does, it's lovely to go from place to place with his little roof down, like a little noddy car. I have no idea what he drives, just a bit of stick, really.
Definitely.
The point there made by Follow the Trawler, 2,100, we do that in 4 games at step 3. Well, the thing is, I guess, is that everyone expects that the lower down you are in the pyramid, the more local your games are. And I think that's where it's all come as a shock. And, people going to Lincolnshire or wherever it is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's fair show on that one. So, yeah, sad to see them go. But that's the kind of state of play that we're at. And so the Furlough None North now moves down to 18 teams. So let's talk about the big news, the one that's been in the comment section a lot already. It is the news that promotions and relegations are now in, as what Russell described in an earlier comment. Interesting promotions shake-up. Won't be many teams with nothing to play for across step 3 to step 6. It's very, very interesting now moving forward. So for those of you who haven't seen the announcement that has been made, I'll try and give you a bit of a summary from it based on the slides that I have done. So here we go. Right, so confirmation that as of next season, I've done them in different colours for you, mate. So
no, it's fine. It's a bit. One of the things I'll preface this with is it all of a sudden looks a lot more complicated than it was maybe last season, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So step 1 promotion is outside of the FA regulations, but there will be 3 relegations from step 1 as of next season. So step 2, there's 2 divisions in step 2, which is obviously the North and the South. You will have promoted per division will be 1 automatic and one via the 16 playoff, which is what is in place at the moment.
That's the super playoff, isn't it? Just for clarification for anyone that doesn't know.
It is, yeah.
So a much more complex system, but
yeah, where it's something like third place, seventh, and fourth place. No,
you get a bye, don't you? As such, when you're
fourth place, seventh, fifth place, sixth, and then the winner of those goes on to then play the first, the second, and third team.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. 3 relegated per division. And then where we then step into things, which is step 3, we've got 2 promoted per division, 1 automatic and 1 via a 14 playoffs. And we've then got 4 relegated per division. Right, so moving on into where our level of the football comes into play. So step 4, which is where we now have 8 divisions. You'll have 2 promoted per division, 1 automatically, and 1 via a 4-team playoff. So again, nice and keeps people, that's more or less what it is right now. There's no real change on that respect. 2 relegated automatically per division, plus a 3rd and 4th bottom hosting a first leg playoff against a step 5 runner-up. So this is where it kind of gets into a bit of a, like the Scottish leagues have, where it's it's a promoted versus relegated kind of battle between 2 divisions, which I can't stand. Like I just don't get it.
I'm not a fan either, especially when it's a 1 game.
Yeah,
anything can happen in a game. I think we'll all agree on that. So some of it comes down to rolling the dice and a bit of luck. There's not too much measure.
And you're giving a team who finishes towards the bottom of the table an opportunity to save their season when, quite frankly, if they haven't done enough during the full calendar campaign, why should you give them?
Oh, James, don't get me wrong. There's quite a chance that a team with very, very few points could end up in that playoff against a step 5 runner-up that has a lot of points and just get the luck of the draw on the day.
Yep. Which is what I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, we will see that, and it's not good.
No.
But they've got to come up with something.
I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks about it in the comment section right now. Do you agree with the playoff situation where a team in a higher division is taking on a lower division like the Scottish South is, or should it just be done on a reward structure based on the division you are? Let us know in the comment section right now what your thoughts are on this. So, step 5, 16 divisions. You've got 1 promoted automatically, and then you then have the sides in second place playing a 1-legged playoff away against, as we already mentioned, a 3rd or a 4th bottom step 4 side. So in this Furlough Non-Prem next year, we've got 1 automatic and then our second place team going into a playoff.
Yeah.
So 2 spots up for grabs next year.
This is quite different in step 5 because there was going to be that points per game structure, wasn't there? Because there wasn't quite enough slots to go up.
Yeah.
So now it's, one size fits all now. Everyone gets the same shot at going up.
Yeah.
2 to be automatically relegated. A lot of teams are going to really have to put their back into it. It's going to be tough. Like I think at the Furlough Non-Prem, and I think how many teams I think could do well, and that's a bit of a scary thought. And I think last season, something that we saw, and I think is worth noting, some teams that were filled with quite exceptional players, or they just didn't click early on, and you don't know how that would have extrapolated over a whole season. But there is a worry that someone could get sucked into one of those bottom 2, and. Do you know what I mean? It all evens out over the course of a season, but there's going to be a lot of competition for very little places in terms of moving on. And we know straight away that we've got teams like Mildenhall, Norwich United, Hodgson. They're going to be pushing very, very hard. Newmarket were one of the teams that have got some great players on the books.
Galston
didn't quite click. Galston are making moves. They'll be wanting to crack on, and
Woodbridge.
Woodbridge have got a fair few signings lined up, I think, and looking to refresh that squad. Leon's obviously been announced. I know that's something we didn't put on the agenda. But Leon Moore has been made their manager formally. Will be wanting to make waves there. Like even Thetford, who struggled last year, have made changes to the coaching setup to try and change things over. So there's going to be a lot of competition in areas where maybe there wasn't before, and it could look very, very different. But by the same means, that same discussion can take place again, whereby we've now got 4 teams, haven't we, in that league that weren't there before.
Yeah.
And it'll make it look very, very different, because you don't know over the course of a season how well those teams will compete. I mean, if things that we've seen anything to go on, like Mulbarton playing against Galston quite well regarded for the quality that they've put into the team, they didn't look out of place. I know they lost, but they did not look out of place. You kind of think that you've got a very, very competitive full season lined up there if we can get through it.
Yeah, Christ. Yeah, step 5 in our region is going to be ridiculous next year. It's going to be absolutely mental. It's going
to be a great one to follow, isn't it? And
oh Christ, yeah, it's going to be brilliant
to track.
Really,
I think one of the things that I want to see that couples along with this, and I should have mentioned it when we were there, but for steps 2, 3, and 4 particularly, what happens if we can't play a full season? Because those leagues in particular have been made to stand still now for 2 years, and that didn't go down very well. But I think there needs to be a clear plan from the offset to say, if we can't do it, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, if you know from the outset, there's no argument when it comes up.
Yeah.
For me,
it's when it's then made up during the halfway during the season, and that's when problems occur. But
because this isn't. There's every chance that promotion may not be cut and dried by these methods.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the alternatives?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then the final one, which was step 6, which we've briefly talked about, 2 promoted teams per division, 1 automatically, and then 1 via a 4-team playoff. So
absolutely hideous for step 6. That.
I mean, it includes more teams towards the end of the season, but if you're going to go along the whole playoff situation for step 4 and step 5, why are we not doing the same for step 6?
But last season, though, wasn't it 4 automatic promotions if the season would have played out?
I believe so, but I think that was just that one-off.
Yeah, I know it's a one-off, but to the teams that didn't make it, it's a harder division all of a sudden. Because they're still chucked in there with other teams that were close to competing. I know you've shifted out those that were combined over 2 seasons, the top performers, but that doesn't take away the fact that there are still a collective of teams in there that are good, that someone's going to miss out, even if they carry on with the same quality. And that's going to be a worry for teams, and some people will make a decision about how they invest, I think, based on that.
Yeah. Could very well be. Let's get some of your comments up on the screen here. Maverick, surely playoffs for relegation would be a better battle for teams in their own league.
Well, that's an interesting idea, and that.
So if you've got 2 relegation spots, maybe the bottom goes down automatically, but then the second and third bottom teams go against each other in a one-off playoff game.
Just 2-legged playoff game.
Yeah, it could be.
Home and away, 2-legged. You need to give each team that home and away advantage, in my opinion. But again, it's very much my opinion. People that have got more experience of football than me, and there's plenty of those in the chat, will understand the benefits of a 1-leg versus a 2-leg. But I believe that a 2-leg would always be the way to go when promotion and relegation is at stake.
I never like it, especially I see it all the time in the Scottish leagues. I never understand. You've had a full season. You've shown that you deserve to go up. You've got into that mix of being up there at the top of the table, and then, as Hannah says right here, it will be whoever turns up on the day. In terms of, like I said, you're effectively rewarding people who have done poor in the league above. I don't. It just doesn't make any sense to me to give that give that team another opportunity to save themselves when it should just be like it is at the higher levels of the English game. You've got your set teams that get relegated, and you've got your set teams that get promoted, and then boom, that's it.
You could see all sorts of silliness happen as well, because the spending power at step 4 will be a little bit greater to pull in a couple of players in the dying embers of a season that maybe a step 5 team hasn't got, and then do you know what I mean? All of a sudden they could have a couple of people that were signed on and dual regged, and it could get a bit silly. I'll be interested to see how it pans out. But you know, as with anything, if they did this a different way, we'd be asking different questions, and that's the beauty of the show. Really, it allows us to debate and discuss and see what people's temperature checker things actually is.
For example, we've got follow the trawler here. I'm actually for it. Also, the one-off games reward structure, isn't that what the playoffs are anyways? Well, yes, when you're competing against teams in your own division, it's when you're rewarding people who have failed throughout the course of the season. That's where I kind of draw the line. But yeah, playoffs wise, at step 6, I actually agree with that. If you're only gonna offer two promotions places, then yeah, why not? Let's make it one automatic and then 4 via a playoff system. That just adds a bit of an extra spice towards the end of the season. But as I said, not rewarding, not rewarding a team who's done poor throughout the whole of the season. But that's just my opinion. But I appreciate what you said on there, mate. And this is from someone who supported a team that got screwed over the one year they decided we had to win 2 playoff finals to get promoted. And yeah, absolutely fair play to you, mate. I like it.
That's interesting there to get that opinion from someone that's actually witnessed that side of it. And Colin's deeply involved with a step 3 team, so a highly regarded opinion there.
Agree, Adam. We all need to know where we are before the first ball is kicked. Maverick, like they did to shake up the leagues, you mean a null and void? That's not null and void. Just says that's interesting. Will there be any rules to stop bringing in loads of players to stop?
I think there needs to be, because that's an easy exploit, a really easy exploit, and you will know when you're in that position a few weeks before it happens.
Yeah.
So, there will be a chance to play players in the regular season, even if they say, you have to have played in the regular season before, to make them eligible for the playoffs. There needs to be a stronger rule than that to say that they've made, say, 10 appearances. Because otherwise, I think there's a heavy exploit that would allow teams to continue competing at step 4, where things like advertising revenue, tickets in terms of gate receipts and stuff are all going to be higher than what they are at step 5. You've also got to remember that when you're in step 4, you've got access to the FA Trophy with a larger prize pool than the FA Vase, which is at step 5. So it does go beyond the immediately obvious things, and you're playing with fire a little bit if there isn't a preventative measure put in place to stop teams exploiting it.
Yeah, follow the trawler. Agree on the exploit. Fairly sure I saw a few ringers just in these cup competitions in the last few weeks. Dan's counteracted it by saying clubs can't register players after the 31st of March.
Still quite late, though, considering what they want to do with the season. I was aware of the 31st of March rule, but most of these games, they want things tied up by the end of April in terms of the season. That is too late.
Yeah.
There needs to be something else there.
Yeah, as follow the trawler says, needs to be closed off and addressed earlier. So kind of getting an overall thought then, what do you make of the promotions and relegations? For me, I think from each division, there's not enough promotions and relegations happening. I think that's my one thing. If you're going to do the playoff scenario, fair play. Do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it. But if that's the way you want to go down it, then that's absolutely fine. But for me, from each division, there needs to be more promotions and relegations. I want to see 3 teams coming up from step 6. I want to see, again, from step 5, I want to see 3 teams going up, 3 teams coming back down, etc. There needs to be more rotation and more changes happening each season to make the competitions fresh and exciting every single time you're coming around. Because if you're going via this playoff system, there's the potential that you're only going to have one team leaving your league and one team or one team.
There's a change of 3 teams, isn't there? Potentially, like depending on where things are, there's 2 or 3 teams that will change in each division. I think that what you've got to be careful of is that balance between it being too easy for a set of teams to get promoted and for there to encourage competition and teams to really battle it out for those places. Typically in step 5, for the last several seasons, you've seen a couple of clubs really run away with it.
Yeah.
I think if we go back 4 years now, 1, 2, 3, I think it was 4 years. You saw Coggeshall and Felixstowe get promoted, and Stowmarket all got over 100 points.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And that was they were ahead by distance, well into the distance. The next season after that, you saw Histon blow the league away, playing tactics that, by launching long balls and hoofing the ball long distances down lines and pinging balls in. No one could beat that tactic in that league. And again, that they were by far and away winners. Something the league needs to level up a little bit to make it a bit more competitive. And those teams have now moved on. Stowmarket had that, I think, a 17-point gap in the longer season before that was pulled apart. And we never really got to see what happened last season, but Wroxham had won every single game.
Yeah.
Nothing in there at the moment fills me with confidence that we're not going to end up with just a couple of runaway teams and everyone else is going to be playing for nothing for the majority of the season. But you can't predict things like this before a ball is kicked. But what you can say is in the past, X, Y, and Z has happened. Let's just hope it's a more even playing field and more teams aren't giving up halfway through the season and cutting budgets, and players are moving from pillar to post several times in the season just because that there isn't the initial promise to play that was there. Like you really want to see a good competitive top half, and then the teams in the bottom half really pushing to make sure they avoid the drop. And you want leagues where everyone can beat everyone, but we just don't know at this stage how that's going to pan out in much tighter leagues. And I think there's going to be teams that approach the leagues with trepidation. I'm not afraid to point out Ipswich Wanderers. They've clearly got an investment in that squad. They announced Jack Baker this week. They've got 3 fairly frightening players without even delving into their squad.
They signed Jacob Blade, didn't they, today? From Durham. Incredible. Right. Absolutely incredible player. I remember watching him at Witten last season. He was just...
You've got to ask that they've got quite a midfield at that club. Yeah, they really have. And what you've got to ask yourself is how sure do they need to be that they're going to get promoted? Do they need to be damn sure? Because the sign of intent is there as to exactly what they want to achieve. But when there's only one automatic place at stake, the stakes for that club are sky high. They are going into an untested and untried league for them. It's exciting at the same time as being quite scary for me. And there are other teams that will do exactly the same thing. Yeah. There are teams in the furlough non-prem that will chuck a load of money at it and it may or may not work out. Yeah. And that's been true for a while. Yeah. So scary times, which are going to be a lot tighter in terms of what happens.
Yeah, definitely. So that was the breaking news from today. Did you want to talk about the Super Six announced the European Super League breakaway? Did you want
I think it's worth noting that there's just a brief announcement gone on there, which is going to benefit potentially clubs at a grassroots level. It's what we do in terms of cover it, and I think. My opinion on this is that fine is a joke.
Yeah.
My words to James were like, that amount isn't even going to tickle the owners of those clubs.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
If you are that disappointed and angry at what had happened, and you were, it had caused that much damage to turn around, and I think it works out under £4 million per club, and you look at the budgets and you look at what these teams pay for players. Like we're talking on the same day where there's arguments on Twitter about Chelsea paying £60 million for a bench warmer, and you're so disappointed in clubs for trying to break out of your league, you're going to charge them under £4 million. Well, I'm sorry, like you've missed the point entirely. This isn't a punishment. It's the same thing for when people get done for violent conduct on the pitch and everything. It goes against everything in the rule book. Yet a team will get fined 10 grand. And you think, what has a £10,000 fine done? It doesn't even teach them a lesson. This is exactly the same thing extrapolated a little bit. So in terms of the detailed plan of how they're being distributed, I want to keep my eyes on the prize in terms of knowing what's going on here. But there is a clear part in this article by the BBC that says this money will go out to grassroots football and the good of the game. What does that mean? Who knows?
Yeah. They've said it's a collectively. The English clubs had collectively agreed to make a payment of 22 million as a gesture of goodwill. Well, thank you very much. Well, we really, really appreciate your gesture of goodwill.
We bow down to you, absolute clowns.
The money will go towards the good of the game, which includes new investment in support for fans and will help fund grassroots and community projects. But as Alex said, I would love to see what that actually means, how it's going to be distributed. Will it be one of those things that we ever find out? I highly, highly doubt it. I think it'll be one of those things that we will never know. We will never, ever know where that money goes to.
I really hope that this money is put towards things like women's football and developing things that really don't have the funding to grow at the moment. And this Super League thing, they thought they were growing the English game and putting it to a new audience. Well, I really hope that this money comes out of here and we grow something that really does have the potential for exponential growth in this country, giving back to the community-led clubs, which are all run by volunteers, giving into to women's football, which needs to grow and has clearly got an audience and a customer base. Because quite frankly, the amount of money and how much projects cost, that is a joke.
Yeah.
That is an absolute joke. Whatever they thought when they're saying it's a gesture of goodwill, a gesture of goodwill might be starting on that amount of money per club.
Yeah. Shem, as the champions of Europe, I'm surprised that we have only have to sell Danny Drinkwater to pay this fine. It's not a punishment. Maverick, the only reason the money is being passed to grassroots is it is hush money. It's dirty money, says Maverick. It's hard to disagree.
It doesn't feel like a punishment. There was so much noise made about this, and all these statements came out instantly about how disappointed they were, and you really felt that they were going to come down with the full sort of foot of the law. And what they've turned around and said is, if you do it again and do want out, we'll sort of dock you 30 points and a further £25 million per club. Well, that's brilliant. All you're saying to them is, if you do it again, just make sure you do sod off and don't come back.
Yeah.
Because that's all that is. And at the end of the day, even if they did come back, like some clubs would even absorb that and not worry. If Arsenal did it, they wouldn't be in any worse position than they are this season anyway. They wouldn't miss out on anything. They wouldn't get relegated, and £25 million, well, they'd only probably waste it on somebody that doesn't score or is an absolute clown in defence. This is the exact reason why I hate pro football.
Yeah.
It just typifies it, because, there's these people there thinking they're doing something for the good of the game, but they're not.
They know what they're doing.
Exactly, of course they do. Because if anyone ever mentions it again, they can say, we did give a share of £22 million, and that's a lot. And, okay, give me £22 million, I could live on that for a very long time. But in the context of things, it isn't a lot, and it won't go far. It buys very, very little. Yeah. Like, the Regal in town cost £3.5 million to upgrade.
I mean, it looks good. It
does look good, but it's a cinema that's had some fresh bricks and a new screen chucked on it. Like, that's £3.5 million gone. £22 million won't go far in football.
Oh, We should get them to sponsor us.
The Regal.
Yeah, why the hell not? They've got a new cafe in there, haven't they? Is it a new cafe or a new sort of thing?
Yeah, they have got a cafe in there. I think it's run by the Mix.
Oh, dude, I myself a good coffee.
You literally just want a local coffee.
Yeah.
We need someone that's going to be a coffee sponsor.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We need to make that happen. That would be amazing.
They'd get plenty of screen time from you, the amount of coffee you drink.
Yeah. To be fair, as Hannah says, the Regal does look good.
We should have a Suffolk non-league show squad date night at the movies.
Oh, yes.
Just watch Mike Bassett's England manager to copious amounts of popcorn. Perfect for the Euros.
Brilliant. Talking about Euros, should we briefly touch on that before we round things up tonight? How much are you looking forward to the Euros, my man? Are you excited about it? What do you kind of think about England's chances?
Oh, it's that week that comes around once every 2 years where you think you're going to win it. You think that you're going to be sat on the floor of your living room, sort of perched in, waiting for that final goal to go in and go absolutely mental as you take the trophy, only for your hopes to be dashed on the second game of the group stage. Look, the last couple of tournaments, I've had so much fun, and I've enjoyed tournament football all my life.
Yeah,
it's always been something I'm so excited by, and something that I enjoy socially. I watch the games, whether it's England or any other country. But at the end of the day, I think we've got a very, very strong squad. I don't think taking 24 right backs to the Euros was the best idea ever. But let's see. I mean, Alex has put in there, we all love a semi. I mean, we always have a disappointing semi, is all I'd follow that up with. But yeah, have we got enough to win it?
No,
probably not.
Not with Southgate in charge, no.
It's too defensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
At a time when we're bringing forward some really exciting attacking talent, we've got an absolute defence merchant.
Because you know, against Croatia, we're going to be setting up with 5 at the back. We're going to have 2 holding midfield players, and it's going to be a front 3 of Rashford, Kane, and Sterling.
Absolutely. And if Rashford starts, it's criminal.
Yeah, you won't see Rashford. You won't see Grealish. You won't see Grealish and you won't see Foden. Those 2 names won't be anywhere near that first team. I can guarantee it won't be. Guarantee it.
You could print that lineup on a stamp and send it straight back home again if that happens, though.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's guaranteed. You know it's going to happen, but if it happens, bye. Absolutely no point. It's not creative. But who knows? Magic happens at tournaments.
Yeah.
Greece found that out once.
Yeah. France or Germany for the Euro, says Dan.
I love France, James. They've got some incredible players.
France or Portugal for me. I'm tipping to do very, very well.
Ronaldo's last foray, do you think, tournament-wise?
I reckon so, yeah. Not being contrarian, you guys have followed me for a while, so you know I say this truthfully. I'm much more excited about the Copa America that starts on Sunday.
Well, you are the lover of niche football, so I'm not at all surprised. I've been watching your updates of local Japanese football and stuff that you've been putting up recently, so but whatever floats your boat with football.
We don't have enough big game players and no flair. Grealish and Foden have to start. No need for 2 holders.
Absolutely.
Germany, France, and Portugal tonight look good. Italy also. What channel is Copper on and what times? I have absolutely no idea, mate. Alex asked a really good question here. Genuine question. Who would be the best / realistic manager for this bunch of players? Who would you have in charge? Oh, it's a good question.
Paul Cook's a decent name, isn't he? Who would you put in charge of this bunch of players? I do not know.
No, honestly.
Because I don't know what people would be prepared to shift about, and would we go back for a foreign manager again? Or would we keep with the English managers? Would Eddie Howe's name get chucked into the hat because of performances and stuff.
Big
I
sound
think.
available.
Oh, don't. I think Eddie Howe's name would get chucked into a hat. Is he the right man for it? Probably not. Brendan Rodgers, do you think he would go in for it?
Oh God, I'd love it if Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, I think he would be the man. I think he's forward thinking enough. I think he's at the right age. He loves attacking football. I love the stuff he plays. Roy Hodgson, poor old Roy is retired now. He's taking time for his family. I mean, what is he, 71? Incredible.
Did he actually retire at the end?
Yeah, I mean, just imagine being at work and your boss is 71, 72. Like, that's it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not
The
80.
fact that we are replacing the under-21s manager with Lee Carsley speaks volumes. But what do I know?
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, I'd love Brendan Rodgers. I think it'd be a great option. Where do you think England will get in the tournament? Let us know in the comment section. How far do you think England will get?
Quarters for me.
Quarters?
Yeah, I think they'll make it out of that group. I think we'll draw against Croatia. I don't think we'll beat them, so I think we'll set up wrong.
Yeah.
But if that game against Scotland is going to be the absolute banter moment of the tournament, because it will either be absolute scenes if you're English, or absolute humiliation and misery. And it has the capacity to go both ways because of how it is built and how much the momentum behind this game has been building from the second it was drawn.
Yeah,
everyone's been looking forward to that game, and I don't like those moments. They make me very, very nervous. And Wales are getting excited as well, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, they've got a tough group though. Turkey, Switzerland, and Italy. They're tough.
They've got Kiefer Moore though, haven't they? So
You joke. He's kind of like sometimes they play with him. They tend to play Wilson as more of like a false nine and let Gareth Bale just kind of travel around wherever he wants to go as well.
He's another one who must be on his final tournament.
Yeah, they've got some decent players. Wales, but I'm not going to do too much because I'm humming and hawing about whether or not to go live tomorrow night to do a Euros prediction video, just like a one-off. And get as many people's thoughts and opinions in each group as we go through each one. So I'm going to maybe hold off and then I'll let people know if I decide to do that live video tomorrow. It depends on how I'm feeling. But let's get your predictions in before we round up tonight. Ben is saying final. Love the optimism, my man. Love
You'll be disappointed, lad.
Round 16 says Shem. Quarterfinal says Hannah. Depends on the group finish. Optimistic for another semi-final. I don't expect us to progress any further than the group stage. Wow. Follow the trawler. Last 16 as I think we will get France or Germany. Alex, anyway, can we discuss BKA? Oh God, do we have to? I think absolute shit show, embarrassment. I can't believe that people from the club haven't done their due diligence and just searching basic stuff. If you're going to be looking for a company, what's the first thing you do? You look at the social media. It's basic stuff. It really, really is basic stuff. They've dropped the ball on this one massively.
The culture of that company, though, beyond the fact that it's a cryptocurrency based betting company based in China, where cryptocurrency is virtually an outlaw anyway, and the money laundering aspect of it and all of the dangers that are attached to it, the values that they then hold themselves to and the way that they display women to sell and to attract people in, it's disgusting. There's no place for it. Times when that kind of thing were popular and just looked past are so far behind us.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We have moved on so much from that, and we have made so many positive steps for gender equality, for leveling the playing field, for not making people feel marginalized. And not making people feel like that's all they're good for as such. Like you don't, there used to be that old phrase that sex sells or whatever. There is no need for that. Like that went a very, very long time ago, and now is the time to move on and be progressive and go beyond that. And if Norwich want to make a statement, they will drop them.
They won't. No, they won't. They're too deep.
It spoke volumes that the club had to go to them to get them to remove the absolutely horrific advertising videos.
They're still posting. They're still posting stuff like that, which is the worst thing. They haven't stopped.
It's like they even advertise like games they play, like sexy Baccarat. I mean, for God's sake, they must have known that was there on their platform.
Yeah, that's the thing. If somebody hasn't done the checks and they've allowed it to go through, then serious questions need to be asked. If somebody has done the checks and they've deemed that to be okay, serious questions need to be asked.
But I'm absolutely behind though what the female supporters group has put together from Norwich. I watched that video. I thought it was really, really powerful. Yeah, and it got to the point. It wasn't just we're really disappointed. Please do something about it. It was 2 minutes of solid viewing that gave reasons. It was well put together. Yeah. And those two people represented the cause and what they wanted fantastically well. Like, massive kudos to the people, because that's a hard thing to stand up and do. There's every chance that there are a group on the internet that will ridicule those people for standing up against what they believe in, and everyone has gone with them, and it's fantastic to see.
Yeah it's a shame that the club have just gone so narrow-minded on seeing a one pot of money from all of this, because when they actually think about the overall ramifications of this, no one's going to be buying that shirt next year. Do you know what I mean? All the backlash and all of the kind of stuff that's going to be happening.
And for a season back in the Premier League, that's awful.
Yeah, it's been absolutely shocking. But what has been quite disappointing is the complete and utter silence from the football club.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
That's the most disappointing part about it. They've put out a little statement to local journalists and stuff like that, but that's not enough. There needs to be a full explanation. I'm sure it will come in the next few days. I remain hopeful on that.
I'm embarrassed for Darren Eadie, who stands by them now as an advocate of the brand. How can he not distance himself? I know how tightly tied up he is now with Norwich, but you can't. How can he walk into the Leiston changing room being linked with that brand?
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good enough.
The club are normally pretty good on their communication side of it. We do have very transparent owners, and the sporting directors and stuff like that will come out and address things and talk about things that are going on in the football club. So I'm sure all of these kind of things are being sought out behind the scenes to explain why they did it in the first place, how it's happened, how it allowed to happen, why they're sticking to their guns right now, because as they quite frankly what they're doing at the moment, just silence, is just making it worse. If you come out and just say, look, we hold our hands up, we've made a mistake, however we're going to carry on with it, people will be like, okay, do you know what, I'm not happy about it, but maybe we will allow ourselves to continue with it. But the fact
that the thing is, James, like crypto's riding an enormous wave at the minute, like although it's up and down because it naturally fluctuates, but it's on an enormous wave where it's swelling, and they're giving enormous amounts of money away to Norwich they probably never even had in the first place. They probably started with a very small base of money. It's swollen just because of how the markets have gone, and it's not really even costing them anything that they had in the first place to give it away. Are they giving away enormous amounts to try and expand into a new market? This is a company that started the day when they announced the sponsorship with 120 followers on Twitter with a 100% follow back.
Yeah,
it's an utter joke.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. That coupled with the sale of Buendia, it's just been
not a good week. Not a good week.
It's been a terrible week. Really, really has. They would get far stronger brand value in dropping BK8, and by doing so, they'd probably bag an equality lucrative sponsor too. Win-win. Yeah,
because
agree
they
with
show
that.
what they stand for. I completely
Yeah.
agree, Andy.
It's all about the penny, says Hannah and Ben. Unfortunately, money talks. Yeah, that is what it's.
What I'll say though
all down
is
to.
that Hannah and Ben's comment there, we cannot move past the world of inequality and sexism being deemed okay until we can move past the fact of it being all about the pennies. Because when that is displayed, the pennies should not matter. Because you shouldn't want to associate yourself with it in the first place, so it should automatically be ruled out.
Ben, that comment can get right in the bin. Absolutely no chance of that happening. No chance. For those of you listening on podcast, Ben has typed out, come support Ipswich, James. No. Anyway, let's round up tonight's
That's
show.
us denouncing BKA anyway, so
Yeah,
that's that done from our point of view.
Yeah, get in the bin, BKA.
I was going to say, if you want to come and sponsor us, absolutely no thanks.
No. You could offer me life-changing sums to get me out of my current job. I would politely tell you where to go. But yeah, we're going to round things up tonight. I am absolutely exhausted. I need to go and have a lie down. But yeah, it's been a really, really good show. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. Next Monday, again, very similar thing. We're not going to be going live next Monday because I'm going away for that particular day. We will probably do it Wednesday again next week, but we will let you know in due course when myself and Adam can sit down and discuss that. But yeah, thank you everyone who has been in the show, been in the chat tonight. It's been really, really enjoyable reflecting on some of the season, some of the season's winners, etc., and going through some of the latest news. It's been really good fun.
It's been a nice night.
Next week, whenever we do the show, we will be going through Super 6. We'll be rounding up the season and going through that in a bit more detail. But yeah, so we'll announce that in due course. Remember, if you are watching from a YouTube perspective, before you leave, give the thumbs up. On the YouTube video. It would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as Alex says, let's round things off. Great show tonight, gents. Come on, England. Yes. Bring it home, boys. It's coming
3 lines
home.
on a shirt.
I think so. It's coming home. Anyway, thanks so much, everyone. I'll speak to you all very soon. Adios.